Hello friends, you are welcome back to Physique Fashioners channel. I'm Fola. We appreciate as many that has been subscribing to this channel, and if you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. Today I'll teach you how to make a deep V or plunge neckline corset bustier base. When making wedding dresses or luxury wears, a corset base or model is the basis for decorating with beads, lace applique, or just sew lace or satin fabric on it. You can also use the pattern of this plunge corset bustier to cut a corset dress like this. Now, to make our plunge corset bustier, so I'm having here the basic pattern, and what we are having here, we have our top length here of 22 inches. This is the neckline. This is our shoulder length. This is the chest line. 8 inches is our chest line. 10 inches is our bust point. 13 and a half is our under bust length. Our waist length is 17 inches. Then our top length is 22 inches. And here I have my bust span of 4 inches. 8 divided by 2 give me 4 inches. I mark it down here, and I connect it with straight ruler. And mind you, we assume our fabric is on fold. When you are cutting out your fabric, it has to be on fold. So now the next thing we have to do now is to come to our under bust length and come to the right and to the left with a 1 inch. I mark 1 inch here, I mark 1 inch here. Then I do the same thing at my top length, 1 inch. Then I connect it with a straight ruler. So the next thing I do is I connect to my bust point with my French cuff. I connect to my bust point. I do the same thing here. So the next thing I do is I get the distance from my bust point to the under bust. Here I have 3.5 as a distance between my bust point and the under bust. So I get the same thing up here. I get 3.5. I get it up here to serve as my upper chest line. So if you want your cleavage to be sewn, you can come down a bit with a half an inch, and if you want it to cover very well, you can as well go up with a half an inch. But I'm okay with this point. So I just connect it to this with my straight ruler. So this is my upper chest line now. So I get the mark at which I get it is on 6.5. I get my 6.5 here. I get it here as well. I connect it upper chest line. So on it I do the same thing I did here, coming to the right and to the left with 1 inch. I do it here, 1 inch, 1 inch. So I connect it as well with my French cuff to the bust point. So the next thing I do now is to get how deep I want my plunge to be. So for this project, I will be getting the depth of my neckline. I will make it as deep as 17 inches. I will stay on my waistline to get the depth of my neckline. So I'll be using this 17 inch, or I can even go down a bit with a half an inch. Let me make it 17 and a half. So this is how deep I want my neckline to be now. So the next thing I will do is that there is going to be a net here. There is going to be a skin net here. So that skin net, we want it to stop around this my bust point. So let me just come down with 1 inch from my bust point. So I mark it here. So my skin net, I'll be inserting at the center front here. Is going to be between this 11 inches and the 17 and a half. So here now, on this very point, I come in with a 1 inch. I mark it. I just connect it. So now I want to draw out my sweetheart neck here now. So but before then, this very 1 inch that I come in, I will just use my French curve to connect from here now. I connect to this point, to my 1 inch that I come out from the under bust. Yeah. So the next thing I'll do is to get my sweetheart neck, and to achieve that, I'll just place my French curve this way, ensuring it comes from up here and hit this 1 inch. Don't mind this. So the next thing I'll do is that from this point now, I just connect my V to this end with my straight ruler, just like this. Yeah. So this is it. The center cup has been drawn out now. So the next thing we have to do is to draw our, side cup. And to achieve that, we are having distance of 3.5 here. We'll just add half an inch to it to create more room for the bust, to accommodate the side bust. The bust always larger by the side. So what we do is that we just take this, our tape measure, we just place it this way. We want to get 4 inches now. You can see the way I place my, what I'm trying to achieve as I'm placing it now is to, from here now, from this line, I'm trying to get half an inch. So I want to see where my 4 inches will fall before I mark my half an inch. So I measure it. So I have half an inch from this my chest line. I have half an inch. I come down with half an inch, and when you measure it, you have 4 inches from here, from the bust point, from that bust span line here. So the next thing we have to do now is to take our French curve and now connect it. We are going to connect to this mark now. From here, we are going to connect it. So you can see the way I place my French curve. So I'll be coming from here now. So I'm trying to achieve my sweetheart properly now. So the next thing I do is that from this point now, I now connect to this end. Yeah. I've been able to create my side cup now. So the half an inch that will come down from here, now we just get it here as well. Then we connect it. So this is going to serve as our new chest line now. Yeah. So we have been able to create our cup properly now. So the next thing is for us to measure the horizontal, to take the horizontal measurements proper. So, and the chest, I mean, the bust measurements we are working with is 34. We divide 34 by 4. It gives us 8.5. So we measure 8.5 on this 8.5. We return what we are having inside here. Inside here we are having like a 3/4, like z half. Yes, we are having a 0.5, so we return it. Then we get our 1.5. Because we are using net for this project, so we'll be using just 1 inch as our seam allowance. So on the waistline, we get the waist. The waist measurement we are working with is 28. We divide 28 by 4, it gives us 7 inches. So on this waistline, we measure 7 inches. We return these 2 inches we are having inside here. Then 1 inch seam allowance. So on the top length here, you measure what you are having, because this top length, you know, is 22 inches. It might not really be your hip measurement. It might be around the stomach measurement. So you measure the stomach of your client. So the circumference of my client at the top length is 32. So I divide it by 4. 32 divided by 4 gives me 8 inches. I measure 8 inches. I return the 2 inches we are having inside here. Then 1 inch seam allowance. Then I connect it. Like this. Then the next thing is for me to get the bust dots, and to achieve that, I come out from this point with a 1 inch. The dart of the person is 1, I mean the bust dart is 1.5. I mark 1.5. I connect it to this end. Then I get the half of 1.5, that is 0.75. 3/4. I mark it. So I connect it. Then I come out with like half an inch. This half an inch I connect to this end. Then I connect it to the chest line. Yes. So for the down part here, on my top length, I come up with a 1.5. I want to shape the top here. So 1.5. Then I connect it to this end. Yeah, so we are done with the pattern draft of our front cut. So the next thing for us is to cut it out. I want to cut out so this will serve as my yoke now. Then I'm cutting my sweetheart. I want to close my bust darts now. I'm trying to ensure that we are having the same thing here. So we don't have much sorting. So now this is my cup 1 or cup A, cup B. So this is my net, skin net. So this is the front cut of a corset bustier. So we want to go ahead and draft the back cut now. But before then, when we are placing this on our fabric, let's ensure that half an inch is added to this side, half an inch is added here, half an inch. Then round the cup, let half an inch be added for both cup, and for this piece, let half an inch be added here, half an inch here. Even at the center, half an inch will be added. So that is for the front cut. And for skin net, when we are cutting our skin net on fold, half an inch will be added to this side, and the half an inch will be added to the upper part here to join it, because it's going to be on fold. That is for the front cut. Let's go ahead and draft the back cut now. Now to draft the back of our corset bustier now. This is the pattern draft for the back cut, and the length we are having here, we're having 20 and a half as our length. You know, for the front we have 22 inches, and now 1.5, which is our bust dart for the front, has been deducted from the top length now. So we deduct 1.5 from 22, give us 20 and a half. So, and here we have our, this is the shoulder length, then 8 inches is our chest line, and bust point is 10 inches. We are using bust point here to get our bust band to create our dart for the back. And the 15 and a half is our waistline for the back. That is the half back. You know, for the front it was 17 inches for the waistline. Then 1.5 has been deducted as a bust dart, so making the back waistline to be 15 and a half. So we now have 20 and a half as our top length. So now what we do now is we first of all create our dart, and to achieve that, you know, our bust span is 4 inches. 8 divided by 2 give us 4 inches. We mark the 4 inches, we mark it down here, then we connect it with a straight ruler. Now on the waist line, now what we do is we come to the left and to the right with a half. Then we connect it. Then we connect it to the top length. So to connect it to the top length, we can just come up with half an inch. Then we connect it here. So our dart has been created now. So the next thing we have to do now is to take our horizontal measurement, and you will notice something that I didn't bother to draw my zipper allowance, because we are not using zipper for the back of this project. It's going to be lacing at the back, so that's why I didn't bother to draw out my zipper allowance. Now beg your pardon, my camera went off after explaining the zipper side. So the next thing I did is that I connect the bust side to the waist, and I connect the waist to the top length. Then I move up, I step up with a 1.5 to shape the side of our top just the way we did in the front. Then I connect it. So that's it. The next thing we have to do now is I just want to give my back a little shape here. So from the chest line, I come down with 1 inch. Then I connect it to this end. So next thing I do is that I measure, to create a little opening at my center back. So for this side, I just come in with a 1.5 here. Then at the down part here, I come in with 1 inch. I connect it. So that is where my lacing will be fixed. So I'm just going to have a little opening at the center back here. So we are going to cut off this. So now this is the pattern drafting for our back. We just go ahead and cut it out now. So for the back cut, on this chest line, I didn't bother to come down, to step down with a 1/2 inch. So, and as I didn't do that, so I won't bother to add any 1/2 inch to the up part of my back cut. So it will rhyme with the front as it is. The side, by the time we add 1/2 inch to the upper part of the front cut, it will rhyme. I go ahead and cut. I connect it up. 1 inch. So this is it now. What we're going to do now is that for this that side, we are going to be adding 1/2 inch to this side. We'll be adding 1/2 inch to this side. So that's for the back, and on it the boning will be inserted to this point. And where is okay, then we are adding 1/2 inch to to join the with the lining. We are cutting 2 nets, both lining and the fabric. To join it here, 1/2 inch will be added here. So this is the back cut. That is it for pattern drafting. So we'll be doing the sewing of this tutorial together. So that will be on our next class. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and watch out for the sewing parts. Then our online corset class is going on. So ensure that you register today. You'll be glad you do. So see you on my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.